Hi, I'm Rachel Hodgdon, President and CEO of the International Well Building Institute, and I'm really excited to be here with my friend Despina Katsikais, the Global Head of Total Workplace at Cushman & Wakefield. And we've all seen you, Despina, these past couple of months because you've been one of the go-to sources for media that are asking about changes that are happening in the workplace and the future of work in general. You are a font of insight, and so I'm excited to ask you a couple of questions about where you see it all going. With all the change that we've seen over the past couple of years in terms of how we think about the where of work, what's been the biggest surprise for you?
Well, it's very interesting because the debate has been so wide, about are people going back to the office, where are we working in the future? We definitely have taken a point of view in looking at our evidence that work is no longer happening in one building. It's happening across an ecosystem of locations that include the home and third places. But the office, our office buildings, become more important than ever before. And I think that's probably the most interesting aspect of this, because people still want to be back in a building where they feel connected to the culture of the organization. They can create that separation between work and life. So their well-being improves going back. But the building requires a certain amount of additional focus on becoming an inspiring destination, on supporting the health and well-being of people, and making the right interventions that will make an impact to human performance. So that's been a really significant shift in just really rethinking the role of place to drive human outcomes.
Cushman has been doing some fascinating research on return to work. And one of the things that I saw in a presentation you all put together was that people want to be back in the office, but they really want to be able to choose to be back in the office. And I think the conditions under which they return. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, this has been very interesting because we've seen a lot of mandates from companies in having people come back to the office. And yet our data tells us that one of the most striking elements that happened during lockdown was that for the first time, 90% of people felt trusted by their managers to work remotely. And they want that trust to continue in having choice. And ironically, what we find is when people are given the choice, they actually choose to go to the office more because they like the experience of going in and feeling connected to the business. And their experience and engagement increases exponentially. So having that autonomy and choice and going to the office seems to be the sort of magic combination to give you that.
Yeah, and in many ways surprising.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, yes.
It's such a remarkable time for real estate, a time when real estate is taking center stage and how businesses meet critical corporate goals, as well as the outsized role that it can play to help companies enhance ESG performance.
Yes.
How are you seeing that play out? How is it affecting the decisions that companies are making around returning to the office?
Well, we're seeing that play out at every level. So increasingly, we are creating green leasing strategies for our clients. We're looking at the levels of specification of buildings to make sure they're supporting the corporations that are choosing to go into them, their own ESG targets. So landlords that actually are stepping up and embracing more sustainability, more well-being, more connection with the community are able to help their tenants achieve some of their corporate goals as well. So all of those elements are being elevated to not just a nice to have, but much more of a priority, a critical priority for that decision making.
Fantastic insights as always, Despina. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for traveling all this way to make it to the Nasdaq and be with us for this event. Really
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for having me. It's been great to be here.